السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are all doing great. So today inshallah we want to talk about and briefly discuss within the next 15 minutes how to build, what to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter, and how do you build that. So I decided not to make a power presentation today so that everyone can listen and write down whatever I'm saying, and kind of stick it to your brain, and put it down somewhere. Learning the Quran is a process, and when you learn the Quran, for like any knowledge, there are some certain things that you have to know, like certain knowledge or certain skills that you have to acquire. You want to become a doctor, there are some certain skills that you have to subject, courses, curriculum that you have to go through. So the Quran learning and being a fluent Quran reciter it's not an exception as well. So what do you need to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter? I've said this in some of my previous webinars. There are two differences in terms of those who can read the Quran. So we have those who call the fluent Quran reciter and expert reciters. So to make that difference clear is that there are two types of mistake in Quran recitation. So we call one al-lahnu al-jali, which is called the major mistakes. So whenever you change fatha for kasra, you change dhamma for sukun, or you change a letter for another letter, so this is called lahnu al-jali, major mistake. This is forbidding, and you don't want to do that. So the second type of mistake is called al-lahnu al-khafi, which is what? The minor mistakes. So like the ahkam nunu sakina, the ahkam mim sakina, the ahkam mim mushaddada, nun mushaddada, lam al-qamariyya, lam al-shamsiyya, the rule of med, right? The rule of, all those rules, those are minor mistakes, in which sometimes if you make those mistakes, it doesn't change the meaning of the Quran, but the only deficiency is that you're not reciting the Quran the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And majority of the Salaf, many of the past predecessors, they agreed upon that although it might not be haram to make the minor mistake, but some minor mistakes does not change the meaning of the Quran. So it's sometimes not too kind of very hard on is it haram or not haram. But the one that there's no any kind of doubt about it is whenever you make a change in a letter for another letter, or a haraka for another haraka, fatha for kasra, or dhamma for sukun. So this is forbidding, right? But the minor mistakes sometimes is not forbidding, but many of the scholars they dislike it. So for you to become a fluent Quran reciter, you must be able to avoid the major mistakes and some of the minor mistakes. So some of the minor mistakes include like tanween, nono sakin and rule, mim sakin and rule, mim shaddada rule. So if you're able to avoid those ones, then you become a fluent Quran reciter. But an expert Quran reciter is the person who is aware of all those mistakes and they're able to avoid them. So you'll be talking about the shuyukh, so the people like who spend their entire life studying the Quran, studying the Tajweed. So these people are those are the experts, right? Not everyone can become an expert. Not everyone can become an expert. But the Muslims should be fluent and be able to avoid the mistakes that's going to tarnish and sabotage the meaning of the Quran. And that's the goal of our Quran reading program for the kids at Mahir Academy. So at Mahir Academy, we have two programs. We have the Accelerated Quran Reading Program and the Scribe Quran Memorizers Program. So the Accelerated Quran Reading Program is meant to train kids to avoid major Quran mistakes and also avoid some of the minor mistakes. In a summary, they will be able to fluently read the Quran. So they are aware of all those rules and they can apply those rules. So what are those things that you need to learn? I'm going to list them. I already listed them in some of my webinars. And if you're more interested in this, you can send me a message, and I'm going to share the PDF of the items that you need to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter. So firstly, you have to learn the makharij. The makharij, that is the articulation of the letters. That's the first thing everyone has to learn whenever they want to learn to read the Quran. Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, and everyone knows the majority of people know this letter, but they don't know how to pronounce them perfectly, how to pronounce them, in the better way, in the perfect way, because these letters, they come out from five regions of our mouth, and each of them has their own, area where they come out from the mouth. So you have to learn how to do this. So that's the first thing you have to learn. The second thing you have to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter is that you have to learn the harakat, the vowel sounds. So the vowel sound, they are of two types. We have the short vowel sound and the long vowel sound. So the short vowel sound is like fatha, kasra, dhamma. So those ones, they just 1 second, pronunciation, a, e, u, right? So those are the short vowel sound. The long vowel sound are the ones that are longer than 1 minute. So a, e, u, right? So those are long vowel sound. So you have to know those ones and be able to identify them and able to know whenever you're making mistakes with them. The third thing you have to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter is you have to learn the tanween. How do you pronounce the tanween? And in un, right? You have to know how to pronounce them. So tanween and nun sakina, you need to know how to pronounce those. That's the third thing. The first thing that you have to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter is you have to learn the rules of shadda. How do you pronounce shadda? I taught the kids in our program, the shadda is pronounced, the rules of the shadda is not ambiguous. If you want to learn more on the shadda, check our guide section in this on this platform. So we have, we've done many Quran classes in the past. We've done like almost 9 curriculums of the classes here in this group. So search for the guide section of this group and go to the guides, and you see our previous classes on tanween, the shadda, the rules of lam, and many other rules that we already talked about in the class, right? So you have to learn the shadda. Then you have to learn, the rules of lam al-qamariyya, lam al-shamsiyya. How do you identify them? How do you pronounce them, right? Then that's the fifth thing, right? Then you have to learn the rule of nun sakin and tanween. You have to learn the rule of mim sakin and tanween, mim shaddada as well. You have to learn the rules of what? The rules of huruf al-muqatta'a. How do you pronounce those huruf al-muqatta'a? Then you have to learn the stopping rules. How do you stop? How do you pause, right? You have to learn that. And some other things that you can learn, like the rules of raw, which is kind of more advanced, but so like basically you need to learn 9 things, max of 10 of them, but 9 major things that you have to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter, right? And once you learn all this, inshallah, you'll be able to read the Quran fluently. But how do you build this, especially for kids, right? Kids, a lot of these days, they face this challenge of lack of motivation to learn to read the Quran. Even as an adult yourself, how will you be able to build all the skills I just mentioned? The makharij, the articulation of the letters, the tanween, the short vowel sound, the long vowel sound, right? The shadda, the lam al-qamariyya, lam al-shamsiyya, right? Mim sakina, ahkam nun sakina wa tanween, right? The huruf al-muqatta'a, and also the stopping rules of recitation of the Quran. Those 10 items, how do you learn them? How do you build them? There are 3 ways to build things into our memory. And I think a lot of people, when learning the Quran, they make it too hard on themselves. And because many times you want to learn the Quran on your own, some people, they want to learn the Quran from the TV, they want to learn the Quran, from an app. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. The Quran is not meant to be learned that way. Although it might be much easier and convenient, but the time for you to reach your goal to becoming a fluent Quran reciter for your child and even for yourself is going to be much longer and less frustrating. And you might not be able to continue with it, because if you're learning on an app, you can do it at whatever time you want that pleases you. Or if you're learning it on the YouTube, you have to learn, you determine the time you have to learn it. But whenever you're learning with someone who is kind of mentoring you or mentoring your child, they are consistent. So you are consistent with the learning, you are consistent with the training. It's like a mentorship program, right? So you have to kind of build. So you have to have that kind of at the back of your mind. If you want to help your child to learn to read Quran fluently on your own, then you have to create a time and create a curriculum based on just the things I just said now. So you have to know what you need to teach your child and how to teach them. So how do you teach your child? To learn things, there are 3 stages of learning, right? There are 3 ways in which we learn. Visual learning, right? Auditory learning, and tactical learning. So this has to be included in Quran learning, right? So this is what we teach our students in the Accelerated Quran Within program. So we help them be able to build all these skill sets I just mentioned, right? All those 10 items I listed now, we help them be able to build them so that they become fluent Quran reciters. They can read the Quran on their own, right? And take the Quran and read it on their own. So in our program, we help the kids build all these 10 items I mentioned. And inshallah, once you're able to build all those 10 items, like 10 curriculum items I mentioned, you will be able to read the Quran fluently on your own and avoiding the major and the minor mistakes, right? So to build the Quran reading skills, you have to what? You have to be able to build the visual, the visual contents of the Quran letters and all these things I mentioned. So you should be able to see the letters, see the fatha, the kasra, the tanween, the shadda, the lam al-qamariya, lam al-shamsiyya, and be able to identify them, right? So you have to visually see them, and also you have to hear them. So you have to listen to someone saying it. So that's why different ways of listening. It might be from an app, right? It might be from someone, an ustad saying that stuff to your own hearings, right? So there should be a visual learning process. There should be an auditory learning process, and there should be a tactical learning process as well. Have you asked yourself, many Quran programs that you put your child to learn, are they having all this learning process involved in that? Or if you yourself are teaching your child the Quran, are you having all these three combinations of learning process, right? So learning by visual learning, right? So visual learning is what I'm going to talk today now. So I made mention of those three ways of building those skill set. So visual building, memory building of all those tanween, mim sakina, nun sakina, and tanween, the shadda. You have to see them, be able to identify, because you want to read the Quran, right? You want to read the Quran. So you would ask me, what about those who cannot see, like the blind people, right? So with their hand, they are doing two things with their hand. So there's some embroidered Quran. I forgot the name they call those kind of Quran those blind people use. So they touch those letters. So they are visualizing the letters with their own hand, but it's getting recorded in their memory, right? So alhamdulillah, for those of you that you have your eyes, you have your ears, and you have your hands, you have the opportunity to kind of speed up the level in which you learn the Quran, especially for your kids and for adults as well. So you learn it through the visual observation of all those rules, all those curriculum I've mentioned, and you also learn through tactical writing those words out and listening to it as well. So this is what we teach in our accelerated Quran reading program, and this is what you need to learn and how to build all the skills. You have to create a way to build those skills visually, to build all those skills auditorily, and also to build them tactically. So I will mention those skills that you have to learn. One, you have to learn the makharij, the articulation of the letters, the vowel sound, the small, short vowel sound, the long vowel sounds, the tanween, the shadda, right? The lam al-qamariya, lam al-shamsiyya, right? You have to learn all those, nunun sakina, mim sakina, the huruf al-muqatta'a. So if you as someone that you are interested in helping your child to become a fluent Quran reciter, and you want them to learn all the skill set so that they can read the Quran on their own, Accelerated Quran Reading Program at Mahir Academy is the solution for you. So this program is designed in such a way that we create an active learning environment for the kids, and we also help the kids retain all the skill sets for the entire program and beyond. So we have three factors that we built in this program. We have the active learning environment that helps kids motivated, helps them come to the class to learn all this stuff, right? And we have the habits that will help them retain all these things in their memory, practicing, retaining, and many other activities we do in our classes to help the kids retain all this. A lot of kids, a lot of parents, a lot of adults, even they struggle with retaining all the skill set. They can't remember them right, whenever they want to read the Quran. So we help the kids avoid this and help them with some habits, our Quran memory retention habits, our through Quran memory retention habits. We put it in place in this program to help the kids retain all the set. And also we have a strategy, that is the curriculum, right? The curriculum we have in this program, the things I've just mentioned, like those 10 items I mentioned earlier. And we have some other things that is included in our teaching strategy, like community events, having students learn among their peers, knowledge transfer among the students, among the teachers. So it's like a community program, and I will encourage any one of you that has a child, that wants your child to become a fluent Quran reciter. If you want your child to become a fluent Quran reciter and you want to join this program, or you want to learn more about this program to get to know how it works and what it entails, tap the comment Quran below. So just comment Quran below, and I'll reach out to you personally and schedule a time with you to talk, and I can take you through the program, and we can also talk about the investment cost for the program, the fees for the program. This program, we only want to work with parents who are so serious and are willing to help their kids become fluent Quran reciters. If you know that you don't really need this, you don't have to, comment below. But if you need this and you desire this for your child, for yourself, for your child, mostly for your child, comment Quran below, and then I'll reach out to you personally to book a time with you to talk about this, so we can mount a plan out for your child to become a fluent Quran reciter, inshallah. So if anyone has any question, please drop the question in the comments section below here. So if you are watching this video later on, you can drop your comments and put Quran under this video, and inshallah I'm going to reach out to you. So if you want to see how this program works, I can show you how the program works, the video of some of the programs, and the curriculum, our online portal, because the program takes place in an online portal. We don't use Qaida to Nuridiyya or something. We have our own tailored curriculum that we build for the kids. So we are not teaching the kids, Qaida to Nuridiyya, or all those Qaida people take, because I've seen a lot of kids that learn all this Qaida and they're still not able to read the Quran. So the Qaida is not enough. So like, we have our program in such a way that it's a well-run program. All right, so we combine all the knowledge of Tajweed from all different sources, right? Alhamdulillah, I also memorize the Quran. I know what Tajweed is. I know what to learn and what not to learn, or what is not so very important or not so very compulsory to learn right now if you are just studying, or if your child is just studying. So we build this program tailored to kids with ease. They're going to learn all these 10 items I mentioned, and inshallah within just 4 months you will see the difference, and they will be able to identify all these rules and be able to pronounce them perfectly and be able to read the Quran, inshallah, with fluency, bi'idhnillah. So if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna end the webinar, and I will get back to anyone that responded here. And so if you wish to join this program for your child, the accelerated part of the program, or you want to learn more about this program, write comment Quran below here, and I'm going to reach out to you personally, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.